Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So this holiday season marks my first holiday season as a millionaire. I got there mostly through the precious and strategic metals and also the mining stocks and then the emerging market stocks as well. Now I've noticed something really interesting happen. 2 years ago, if you had asked me, what would you do if you won $1 million on a game show or something like that, I probably would have answered I would keep my job, but I would set some hard boundaries and also have better work-life balance, right? In fact, if you go watch a video of mine from 2, 3 years ago, I've probably been saying that all along, right? You guys remember in 2023, I spent the whole year talking about hunt brothering the market on bismuth and what I would do with that money, right? Before that, I was talking about precious metals, and so my answer hasn't changed very much. Well, the thing is that now that I am a millionaire, I noticed something really interesting happen. Am I setting more work-life balance? Not necessarily. The problem is I quickly realized that my work is a lot more than collecting a paycheck. I also want to collect networking. And now that I'm a millionaire, I actually want to network more. I also noticed something else interesting. The more money I have, the more I seem to desire it, right? When I wasn't doing financially that well, did I need the money? Of course I did. Was I crazy about it? Not necessarily, because the difference between suffering a little and suffering a lot wasn't that big anymore, right? Especially somebody like me who's a survivalist. I'm probably never going to get starved to death. When I was in Rochester, New York, I used to eat roadkill. I would eat wild berries and all that. So the difference between that and picking up really cheap canned food at the store, not that big a difference, right? But the difference between 1 million and 2 million, now we're talking, I could go on different kinds of vacations or do other fun things that I love. It's the difference between whether or not I could do a big art project that I might love, right? Now we're actually talking actual difference, right? Not just how much am I going to suffer, right? The other thing I noticed is that even as my wealth has climbed a lot this year, my friend group and other things have not really caught up as fast. And so I'm still hanging around the same friends that I did when I had $100,000. And it creates a lot of friction, not necessarily because these people want to take advantage of me. No, these people often don't know my situation. The problem is that these people actually can't have work-life balance. And so there's never enough time for all the social activities that I want. And so in essence, I became a millionaire on the books, but I haven't really become so in my social life. And the friction in that. The other thing I notice is that this is kind of obvious, but it's worth stating. Even though my bank account might hit 1 million, my time account doesn't, right? So for example, I would so much love to take a trip to Yosemite. But unfortunately, I'm single, and when I drive to Yosemite and I get there, I'm exhausted. Often the only time I get to really enjoy a trip to Yosemite, and I got to really put it enjoy in quotation marks because I don't, is when I'm in between jobs, right? The caveat is that I'm in between jobs, but really I'm only in between jobs in retrospect, right? At the moment that I'm in Yosemite, I'm stressed out about where my next job is, right? So it's kind of a weird conundrum, right? And so I know it sounds obvious, but when you hit $1 million in your bank account, you don't hit 1 million in your time account necessarily, right? A lot of logistics don't sort themselves out. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.